Annalise with Music Notes, and I'm back with another card from this interactive card kit series. So this one's really fun. It looks very simple, and it fits in an envelope, a regular A2 envelope, but when you open it up, it actually folds out into this box. So a really fun little three-dimensional card here. This one says it's a girl. It has these cute little duckies and the elephant and everything. So these little sections and plastic strips hold these images in place and looks really fun and dimensional. And it does fold flat either direction to fit in your envelope. So let's go ahead and make this card. Just want to remind you that I have instructions with my card kits, so you can recreate this card from scratch. Go ahead and just flip to that page in the booklet. It even has a diagram to show you how to cut, which is really helpful. I'm actually going to refer to that as well. And we'll go ahead and get started on this book, on this card. So let's go ahead and see what's in the kit today. So this card is made from a piece of white cardstock that's already scored for you. So you'll notice that it actually matches the diagram and the instructions, and we're going to go ahead and cut certain parts of that. There's also these sweet little images that are already colored up and die cut and cut out for you. If you like these images, you can get the stamps. I have them in the instructions of which ones they are. You'll also have some little sentiments here, a bit of ribbon, a couple of these white pieces that also have score lines on it. Then there is a nice yellow piece, which is actually going to be helping to keep this sturdy on the back. And then some pattern paper. They're double-sided, so you can always mix and match and put a different formation than I've done. So you can either follow along with the way I've built out this box, or if you want to kind of play around, mix and match, use the reverse sides, you're welcome to do that. Really fun. And then the last thing is there should be 2 pieces of plastic, and that's actually going to help the pieces stick out. And actually I think there should be 3, but if there's not 3, you can always just take one and trim it in half and use that. So we'll see if the third one shows up. It's probably just tucked in somewhere because of static, but anyway, let's go ahead and make this card. Go ahead and set these pieces aside. I found the third piece, guys. It's in the bag still. Make sure you check your bag that you have everything you need. All right, so we're going to have this card base that we're going to start from. It already has some score lines. And what we're going to do is actually trim and cut out this tab. So cut along the horizontal line and then cut along the side. And we're just going to take that piece away. So now you have it more like this. Now we're going to trim halfway from the end to the middle score line on all 3 of these scores. All right, so I finished trimming, and you'll see that these are all freely separated, and this is all still connected. Now let's go ahead and score on these lines. Go ahead and fold, and we're just going to start folding them in to each other. So I'm just going to keep pulling, folding, and cutting. If you realize that you cut a little bit unevenly, you can always go back and clean it up. I think I'm going to just trim this a tiny bit so it's straighter. All right, so now that we've folded these, this tab is here so you can glue it to the very left side. So go ahead and take your glue and just put it on this little strip. I'm going to use some liquid glue so it takes a little bit of time to dry. I can make sure I have it exactly how I want it. And I find the easiest way is to really just fold this in half and place this on top. So I'm pressing that really nicely. And when I open it, it's a box shape. So it folds flat and it opens up into a box. All right, so now we're going to start folding these pieces down. I'm going to fold down just 3 of them. So 1, 2, and we'll open it up and do this 3rd one. But I'm going to leave one completely upright. I'm not going to fold that last one because I want the elephant to have something to attach to. So that's actually going to be straight. And I'm actually going to take this yellow piece and glue it on the back of the card to make sure it stays. So go ahead and glue that down. All right, so that's on the back of the card. And that's going to help make sure that I'm gluing the other pattern pieces where I want them to be. So let's go ahead and start gluing those down. I'm going to use my sample as a guide, but you can always kind of mix and match how you want these pieces to go. But I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing on this front panel here. This is the yellow one. Folded it over, and I'm just going to follow along with some of this gray and yellow in the front. So the outside is done except for this little sentiment. So let's go ahead and put that on. I actually have it over here on this gray panel. So go ahead and take this little ribbon, double it up, insert it through the hole of the tag from the back to the front. Once you get a loop, go ahead and insert the tails through the loop and pull it up. Make sure both tails are in, pull it up, and you have this sweet little detail on your tag. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim the edges down a bit, and I like to cut them at an angle, and you can make it as long or as short as you want. Then go ahead and glue your tag onto the front of your card. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and move to the inside. What we're going to want to do is get it ready with these horizontal white pieces here. So you have 2 pieces of white cardstock. You're going to fold on the score lines. That's all ready for you. And it's going to go on the inside of your card like this. Now, of course, you're going to want to glue them, but before I glue it down, I'm just going to show you what it looks like when it's inside. And you can have them spaced out, or you could have them right next to each other and kind of use that tab as a spacer. But go ahead and decide where you're going to want it, and then go ahead and add some glue. Again, I'm going to use some liquid glue. I'm going to have to be a little careful not to get too much on there and get it all messy, but just do a little strip on either side, and it's going to attach to the card, the inside of the box. Go ahead and slide it in. I'm going to do the other one. A small strip. You could also use dry adhesive if you prefer, but I'm just going to slide it in here. And if there's any excess, go ahead and just wipe it off. All right, so we have both of them in here. And while it's still wet, I'm going to actually fold it closed. Make sure that it's in a good spot. So when I open it up, I can open it up and fold it flat. And I'm going to make sure on both sides it's okay. Very good. So I just need to let that dry. And while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to think about how I want to glue down my next pages that are decorative. So I'm just going to keep the pink stripes and glue it that way. So while that's drying, I'm just going to get these adhered onto each of the top flaps, including on the back. So now my box is ready to be decorated. So go ahead and take the elephant. We'll kind of work from the back to the front, and go ahead and glue the elephant onto this pink panel. My elephant's actually going to overhang a little bit, so I made sure not to add too much adhesive to this back side. And if I have a little extra, I have the kind that I can easily rub the extra adhesive off, so it's not a problem. But now I have my elephant on that back panel with the reinforced yellow cardstock. Then I'm also going to take my It's a Girl sentiment and just put it on that front flap. All right, so next I have my 3 pieces of plastic. You should have 3 in your kit. They're a little hard to see because they're clear, but you should have 3. If you don't, just go ahead and you could use some other packaging you have. You could even cut one in half and just have it be a little shorter, but you should have enough. What we're going to do is go ahead and put all of our little decorative pieces onto it. So on the dress of this clothesline, go ahead and glue this plastic stick right behind it. We're just going to get it ready first. So I'm going to use some liquid glue because it's stronger than my Tombow tape runner. You could also use some Scotch tape instead. So go ahead and glue it onto the back of the blue dress. Go ahead and glue your ducky to one. And then go ahead and glue your rattle to the last one. All right, before we move to the next step, I'm going to actually let those dry a little bit. All right, so those are dry enough now. We're going to go ahead and start gluing down onto the inside of the box card. So the other end of your plastic will have a little bit of glue, and you'll just position it on the layers of these cardstock. So the rattle will go in the very front of the card. The duck will be attached to that first one, and the clothesline to the second one. So let's go ahead and start with the clothesline. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of this plastic strip. Just a little bit is enough. And I'm going to take my card and just position it where I want it to be. So I'm going to let it be about like this is good. Part way through. Since it's liquid, I can kind of adjust it a little bit. Now I'm going to put the duck on the next layer in the front, and I'm going to let it be a little high just for some fun dimension. So a little bit of glue on the bottom. Go ahead and place it where you want it. And it is liquid, so it's moving around a little bit. You could also use tape if you wanted to use some clear tape. But I'm just going to put the duck here. And the last one is the rattle. A little bit of glue on the bottom. And then place the rattle where you want it. So what can help is to close your card, gently pat it so the liquid adhesive gets a chance to stick, and then open it up and let it dry. So once it's dry, it's ready to have a little note written on. For me, I would write a note on the back and just say congratulations on your new baby. And it's just a super cute card, folds flat into a regular envelope, and they're going to be super surprised when I open it up and see this adorable card. So I hope you enjoyed this card series. These cards are really fun and interactive. They really are dimensional and pop a big punch, and They're also super easy to make just because the kit is all ready for you. So you just have to do a little bit of gluing, some following along, folding, cutting to make these super cute cards. They're available in my Etsy shop, so be sure to check that out. Thanks so much for joining me for this series, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.